Hey everybody, welcome back to Jeff Bowles Central, the only place on the internet all your Jeff Bowles entertainment will take you on a magic carpet ride to places you've probably already been before. I've seen Aladdin. I have seen it. The remake, the live action remake, and I'm here to tell you what I think of it. Here's what I think of Aladdin. Sorry, I was way too aggressive. It's not as good as I was hoping, to be honest with you. I'm a Disney kid. You know, I grew up in the 90s. I grew up on Aladdin, Lion King, Beauty and the Beast. I actually did like the Beauty and the Beast remake that they did, the live action Beauty and the Beast a few years ago. It wasn't so bad. I thought it was okay. I was like, okay, I'd be willing to check out a few more like this. So now they've gone and done Aladdin. And, well, there's a few things to note about it. First of all, for those who are afraid that it's going to just retread the original, rather than bring something new to the party, offer something new, you know how you want it to do that. You don't want it to just be the same thing again. Well, there's good news. There are things that are significantly different from the original. So if you're worried about that, there is something new to see here. But the basic problem with the movie is that we've been here before. It was done better. It was done so in such a classic and indelible fashion that it's glued into our brains, especially if you grew up in the 90s. And there's just no getting rid of it. And I don't think Disney is calculating that. Like, is it possible that the original Aladdin is just so successful as a piece of film that there's no unhinging it. There's no separating it. There's no getting at a different version that's better, at least as far as Disney is concerned, because it is the same movie. And it's got the same music. Which brings me to my next point. People are worried about Will Smith. That turns out to be somewhat, not entirely, somewhat well-founded, because he's not Robin Williams. And he must have known that going in. I have a feeling Will Smith is a guy who's pretty well grounded. It's always seemed to me. I don't know him. I don't go out and I don't ring him up and say, "Hey, Will, you want to go see Aladdin?" Anyways, so I have to think a guy like Will Smith probably knew going in, well, this will either be really, really good, or I'm not going to really live up to Robin Williams. And if he was being honest with himself, he probably would have had to admit, I'm not going to live up to Robin Williams, because who could? Now, you could name me a ton of comedic actors. You could even name me female comedians. That might have been a way to go. Make Jeannie a female. But you could have named me tons of people who could have tried to do this thing. And none of them are Robin Williams. There is no replacing Robin Williams. It's a very, very, very thankless job right from the get-go. So there are moments of his performance, Will Smith's performance, that are a lot of fun, that do work well, but there's just so much stuff, especially when he's doing Robin Williams, like his lines, and even his delivery on some of these things. Especially his song, the wah, 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 wah. That was fun. Where you're just like, oh, Will, come on, man. someone resurrect Robin Williams. Bring him back from the grave so he can play Genie one last time. And it's not anybody's fault. That's going to be a problem with anybody and everybody. Honestly. If you think you can name me one person who can do as good a job as Robin Williams, I will say bullshit. Because nobody can. Especially since the guy is gone and he left us all this beautiful art, of which Aladdin is a standout thing. In retrospect, the legend of this movie kills it. And that's nobody's fault. If this was a movie that came out of nowhere, you'd say it was average. But because it has to fight against the legend that is Disney's Aladdin, I just don't think there's anywhere for it to go. Lion King, the live action, quote, live action, because it's animated too, but it looks live action. That comes out in July, which, as I'm recording this video, is 2 months away. So we'll see, man. We'll see what it does, and we'll see financially how Aladdin performs. They're doing it for money. Disney Disney is pulling these out for money. My wife, we were watching the movie and she's like, "Why did they make this? Who was asking for this? Why did they make money?" And that's the nature of the beast. That's the nature of the Disney beast. So, it's hard to be cynical about it, but you kind of have to be, honestly, if you're thinking of it seriously. So, Jeff Bull Central gives Aladdin, the live action remake, a 6 out of 10. And that's a fairly low score. And I feel like maybe it's a better movie than that, but I just can't access it because the original was just so successful and so good and so classic in so many ways. So that's it for everybody over here at Jeff Bull Central, which is just me. And I'll catch you next time. Like, subscribe. Kablanc, kablanc, kablanc. Wah, wah, wah. Wah, wah. Wah, wah, wah. Wah, wah. Also, do me a favor, pick up one of my short story collections. This one here is called Fear and Loathing in Las Cruces. You get it? Fear and Loathing in Las Cruces. Science fiction, fantasy, horror. There's Western in here. There's like Pulp Fiction in here. Not the movie. There's kind of Pulp Fiction. It's really funny. It's really adult. It's really crazy. I've got a couple more, but Fear and Loathing in Las Cruces. Check it out. Amazon.com. Don't walk. Run. Run.